hello there. Well, I believe you've stuck around this long, so let's get down to it. So first you're gonna need apologies about that. So where was I? Yes, you're gonna need, first of all, a few supplies that you can hopefully get from your local store. You're gonna need some barbecue sticks, some XPS foam, and a pencil just to start off. Oh, and some popsicle sticks or stirring stick. What I have here is for my own design, so I've cut them out in various shapes. So you can go ahead and grab the piece that you wish to be your foundation and draw out or map out where things are going to be inside of it. And make sure you keep it to scale with whatever miniature size you're going with. I've kind of made my own miniature, so I'm kind of going with that scale. There we go, just a quick scaling, and yeah, it seems about right. Once again, I had to make sure I was measuring the door, make sure the minis can fit through my door that I've chosen.
Finish him!
Right, so I'm going to grab the barbecue sticks. I've not chosen to use the stirring sticks or popsicle sticks. Going for the barbecue sticks for the walls, or building the frame that will hold up the walls. So I want to do a rough sketch, just mark out, use your mini for scaling, and just basically, you know, just work out where you want your wall to end basically and start. Got this idea for the chimney, so I'm just marking out where the chimney is going to sit inside the house. Right, a trusty blade, make sure it's sharpened. Go ahead and do the rough cut, and not all the way through it, just a little bit through the foam, because you want it to sit on top of the other foam essentially. Well, that is if you want a chimney anyway. I wanted a chimney. Right, so I'm new to this, so I'm going to use a technique I saw on Bardcraft, I'm not too sure if I'm saying his name right, but I saw this really interesting technique of using a ballpoint pen, and my pen is broken. Nice. Yeah, I would recommend getting a better pen than I did, because this pen was clearly broken. There you go, nothing that duct tape can't fix.
Sell me this fucking pen right here. You can sell anything, sell that. Go ahead. Sell me that pen.
Fix. Right, so again, continuing with the stonework, you just want to do loose bricks and stuff. Like, I wanted it to just look like, you know, just rough bricks. Like, you don't want it to look too perfect, because I like that rustic look to it. But yeah, again, I got the idea from Bardcraft, and also this is something I figured out on my own. I was like, it looks too clean, so make sure you always like roll off your edges so they don't look completely clean if you're going for the rough look.
Welcome to the Salty Spittoon. How tough are you?
How tough am I?
Oh, wow.
You want to also make sure you do some chipping on the rocks. Also got that one from Bardcraft. Yeah, it's a really cool technique. I can't wait to see what it looks like at the end when you throw all the paints on it. Right, for some texture, I'm scrubbing the top of it, take off the gloss using a foil. Technique I learned from Bardcraft to make the texture on the bricks. So you just want to press that into the bricks, go all the way around with it until you got the right amount of texture that you want. Now I'm just cutting off my posts, my wall posts. What I wanted to do here was leave the pointed bits, because I kind of wanted to use the pointed bits to just push them into the foam, so it's easier and I don't have to make a hole, you know, with anything else. I just kind of press that in and it holds its shape. A bit wonky, but again, I'm really eyeballing this thing. I didn't really plan out too tough. I just woke up and just did it. It's alright if it sticks out at the bottom, you could always cut it off, you know. Again, go ahead and cut off the bits that are sticking out, and you should end up with something that looks a little bit like this. So now go ahead and put down the rough estimate of the roof, like where the roof would sit. So I'm using the stirring sticks that I've collected, that I had laying around the house. So that's what I'm using for the roof space. So you want to cut off the tips, the rounded tips.
Not the whole thing. You
understand. Just the very tip. Then after, we're all gonna have wine and sponge cake.
Use your scalpel or your penknife to just texturize the beams. That's something I forgot to do, by the way, and I had to go back and do it on everything before I glued them down. So I had to go back and texturize all the posts, because otherwise it looks super clean. So make sure you just use your penknife and just proper go in with the scratches and stuff like that to get some wooden textures. Here off camera I cut out these you know, different pieces of wood. As you can see, I cut out little bits of corners for the wooden planks for the floor. This I'm using popsicle sticks for, so you don't have to go in like this, like how I've done it. I just wanted it to fit better. I'm using some just standard PVA glue to just glue it down, and then just push it into the corner and just let it dry. Again, make sure you texturize the wooden floors before you glue them on, because it is quite tricky to do them and you risk damaging them once they're glued down, you know. Yeah, I did some borders with some stirring sticks there, using my little Dremel tool to kind of cut out the door, because I forgot I didn't cut out the door initially. And then using a combination of the Dremel and then my little cutter, I just cut out the bit for the door. And there you have it, a little door frame made with the same technique. I used some super glue to hold the door in place, because it's quicker than PVA. I didn't want to use PVA for certain parts of it because it gets a little bit too fiddly and then I have to hold it in place. You don't have time for that. If you really want to get into this stuff, I'd really recommend, I'm no expert, but I'd really recommend getting some that green can I have in the back there, some fast activating glue thing, or accelerant, sorry, glue accelerant. You want to make sure you get one of those and use your super glue together. It really helps, especially if you just need to do quick stuff like this, like what I'm doing right now. Super glue it, and then I don't want to hold it in place forever, so I used a little bit of the accelerant every single time. And as you can see, this is a very, very rough outline. It is not the cleanest job ever, but my house is a bit of a mess anyway that I'm building. It's not supposed to be a super clean house. It's a bit rustic, you know, so I didn't want it to look super clean anyway. So it's perfect for a first project, especially if you have no idea what you're doing, like I'm currently doing. When I say I'm eyeballing this, I'm completely freestyling the crap out of this roof. I have no idea. I didn't make any plans. I just made it. Like whatever stayed on there and looked like a roof, I went with. And here I'm using my trusty Amazon packaging to just use as a roof cover. It's quite simple. Just measure it out roughly and bend it into a triangle shape, and then just cut the excess off that you don't need. Very, very simple. And always just referencing, making sure everything fits. Now I'm just cutting out some extra sticks for the walls, because I felt like they needed some extra supports, because I'm doing this other technique that I also saw on Bard's Craft. So I'm really copying Bard's Craft on this one.
No head and you still coming? Yo, hold on, that worked.
So you might want to go check him out before you check mine out. Right, so here I'm just trying to fit the chimney in and seeing how the chimney fits with the roof, and lo and behold, it doesn't fit very well with the roof. So I had to do a lot of adjustments here because I realized I didn't cut a place out for the chimney and the floor. Here I'm just texturizing the chimney, scratching bits off of it because it had like a very clean finish from the factory when I bought it. Using my little pen, I'm drawing out some bricks again, and I kind of like the textures that was left on the chimney. So I thought it kind of looked like concrete, you know, when concrete goes over bricks and stuff. So I tried to go with that and just left that as a look. Here I'm cutting a separate piece, the bit that's actually going to be my chimney that's inside, like the fireplace. So I realized again I didn't cut a bit for the wall, so that's what I did there. Cut that for the skirt in, so it just sits right just in there. And yeah, so what you want to go ahead and do if you decide to have a chimney is just trace it out like I did pretty much for everything else. And then you just want to mark out where you want stuff to be. You know, so I wanted a little shelf at top of the fireplace. So I just kind of drew that on roughly. Then I'm just going to go ahead and use my scalpel and cut out the fireplace that I want. So I want it to be a very used fireplace. So it's alright if it looks a bit rough. Always relate back to the thing that you're going to glue it on, because you want to make sure that everything fits perfectly. Use a little PVA. It's fine if there's a hole. It actually works better because it looks you know, less 2D. It looks a bit more 3D when the hole's deeper. Here it is, all completed with the ballpoint pen, painstaking bricks that I had to draw on. There you go. Cut a little hole out for the top of the chimney. Same techniques again. You just use you can use a pair of pliers to just pull out once the excess bits of foam once you've cut it. Here I'm just doing my little shelf for the fireplace. Again, most of it has been glued down with super glue. Majority of this build I've used super glue and the Accelerate, so it's a really good thing to just invest in that. Like, you don't have to, but if you don't have the patience like me, I'd get an Accelerate. But anyway, so now I cut out the pieces for the side panels, like the actual walls, and I'm gonna glue them down with a bit of overlapping. So you can make this as clean as you want or as rough as you want. They don't have to look perfect, is what I'm saying. So the middle of the wall came really in handy for this. Yeah, so here's the finishing, like all of it all together. So if you noticed, I've did a technique of part of the walls being with the roof. The reason why I did that is so you can see inside the house, because I realized halfway through, how the fuck are you gonna see inside the house? So now I'm just cutting some shingles for the roof. I used the Warhammer packaging for this because I was gonna use the Amazon packaging, but I knew that it would absorb the paint differently later on, and these ones are better because they have almost like that plastic finish to them. Again, just using PVA to just place them on top. Another technique I learned from Bardscraft. Seriously, thank you, Bardscraft. Another thing that I didn't show was that I used the glue gun to reinforce the inside of the walls on the roof, just so it doesn't wear and tear and just break off when you're removing the roof constantly. And there you have it. Job well done, I think. Anyway, like and subscribe for part 2.